The transport ship shuddered as it dropped through the atmosphere of the Galactic Academy's home planet. Lyra Solon sat stiffly in her seat, her fingers tracing the edges of her training kit. Around her, other cadets chatted and laughed, their voices full of excitement and superiority. Most of them were aliens, tall, many-armed, glowing in strange colors, or covered in thick scales. Humans were rare in the Academy. Even fewer had come from a death world, the planet where Lyra had grown up. She tightened her grip on her bag. She had learned long ago that people doubted humans, especially humans from death worlds. She had heard it all before. No one survives a death world, or humans are fragile, soft creatures. The words stung less now. Experience had taught her the truth. Humans were survivors. And she had scars, both visible and invisible, to prove it. The ship landed with a low thud, sending a small cloud of dust over the tarmac. Lyra stood, smoothing her simple uniform. She was of average height with a lean, strong frame shaped by years of surviving extreme conditions on her death world. Her dark eyes scanned the crowd of cadets as they filed out. Whispers followed her, a mix of curiosity and amusement. A tall alien with silver scales leaned over to another cadet, speaking in a hissed language that humans rarely understood. Lyra caught enough to hear Death World mentioned, followed by laughter. She ignored them and walked with steady steps toward the Academy's main gates. "Hey, human!" a voice called out. Lyra turned to see a bulky alien cadet pointing at her. "Did you really say you trained on a death world?" "You'll probably last 5 minutes in our simulation." Lyra met his eyes calmly. She didn't reply. Some lessons she had learned were best taught by action, not words. She had survived storms that could crush metal, creatures that could tear a spaceship apart, and lands that would have killed most beings in hours. Words meant nothing. Survival did. The cadets pushed past her, smirking and whispering behind her back. Lyra's gaze remained forward, taking in the vast academy ahead. Towering spires of metal and glass reflected the bright sun, and flying vehicles moved like schools of fish between the buildings. The place was impressive, but Lyra felt no awe. She had survived death worlds. Nothing here could scare her. At the academy entrance, a figure stepped forward. Instructor Kale was a tall, muscular alien. With golden skin and piercing amber eyes, he exuded authority, and even the rowdy cadets fell silent for a moment. "Welcome, cadets," Kyle said, his deep voice echoing across the plaza. "You are here to learn, to survive, and to lead. The galaxy watches those who graduate from this academy. Some of you will fail. Some of you will rise. The choice is yours." Lyra listened carefully. She had no need to impress Kyle yet. He already knew something about her, though she wasn't sure how much. She had heard rumors that the instructors received her file before arrival. They knew she was a Death World survivor, but they didn't know the details, and they didn't know what she could do. The cadets were assigned their quarters. Lyra walked beside a few alien cadets who kept sneering. One of them, a tall creature with multiple arms, nudged another. "Did you see her? A human from a death world? She won't last a week." Lyra kept walking. "We'll see," she said softly, though they didn't hear her over their laughter. After settling into her quarters, she unpacked her gear. Everything she brought was practical. Survival knives, reinforced boots, climbing ropes, and a small med kit. Nothing fancy, nothing flashy. She didn't need gadgets or exotic equipment to survive. Her own instincts were enough. That evening, the cadets gathered in the main training hall. Holographic screens projected terrain, alien wildlife, and tactical exercises. Instructor Kale addressed the group again. "Tomorrow, you will begin the combat simulation. It is designed to challenge every part of your being, physical, mental, and tactical. Remember, the galaxy will judge your performance. Success is measured by skill, not by arrogance." A murmur ran through the cadets. Some smiled confidently, certain they would excel. Lyra studied the simulation display. It showed a death world environment. Harsh terrain, lightning storms, and dangerous predators. Her heart did not race. She had been there. She had survived worse. "Looks easy," a voice said behind her. It was the bulky alien from earlier. "You'll probably scream the first time lightning hits." Lyra turned, her dark eyes meeting his. "You'll see," she said simply. No one had yet seen what she was capable of. The next morning, the cadets were transported to the simulation chamber. The room was massive, with holographic projectors creating terrain, weather, and wildlife that seemed real. Lyra stepped forward, her boots crunching on simulated dirt. The other cadets rushed forward, gadgets in hand, scanning for threats. They moved confidently, but Lyra noticed hesitation in their eyes. They had never faced a real death world. Their skills were theoretical. The simulation began. Lightning crackled, the ground shook, and holographic predators stalked the cadets. Lyra moved with calm precision. She climbed rocks, avoided hazards, and used terrain to her advantage. One cadet panicked, tripping over a simulated creature. Lyra was there in an instant, pulling him out of danger. "Thanks," he muttered, embarrassed. "You're welcome," Lyra said. She didn't gloat. That was not her style. Actions spoke louder than words. The other cadets watched, some in disbelief, others in irritation. One whispered to another, "How is she doing that? This is just a simulation." But for Lyra, it felt real. Every movement, every decision mattered. Survival was not a game. She could feel her heart steady, her mind clear. This was what she had trained for all her life. By the end of the exercise, the cadets were exhausted. Many had failed minor tasks, falling into traps or panicking. Lyra completed every challenge, finishing quietly, without fanfare. Back in the hall, cadets gathered to discuss performance. The bulky alien from earlier approached her, smirking. "Not bad, human. Luck must be on your side." Lyra's hand brushed the sleeve of her uniform, over a small, healed scar on her arm. She didn't show it yet, but it was a reminder of real Death World challenges. "Luck isn't part of it," she said softly. "Preparation is." Some cadets laughed nervously, others looked uneasy. They did not know the half of it. Instructor Kyle observed quietly from the side. He made a note in his datapad. This human cadet was not ordinary. She was calm, resourceful, and deadly when needed. He wondered how far she could go if allowed to lead rather than follow. That evening, Lyra sat alone, reviewing her movements and strategies. She had survived another day of judgment, but she knew this was just the beginning. The Academy would continue to challenge them in ways that went beyond skill, testing courage, leadership, and endurance. Yet for Lyra, there was no fear. She had survived Death World storms, predators, and lands that would have killed most beings before dawn. A few arrogant cadets with clever words meant nothing. Tomorrow, the challenges would escalate. She would prove, quietly but undeniably, that humans were not just survivors, they were extraordinary. And one day, those who mocked the word Death World would understand the price of underestimating someone like Lyra Solon. The sun rose over the Academy grounds, casting long shadows across the training fields. Lyra Solon stood among the cadets, her boots firmly planted on the metal floor, her eyes scanning the massive simulation arena before them. Today's challenge was more than a test. It was the first official Death World simulation designed to push cadets to their limits. The arena was enormous. Holographic mountains rose sharply into the sky, rivers cut deep canyons through rocky terrain, and simulated storms rumbled in the distance. The predators programmed into the simulation were lethal, agile, and unpredictable. Most of the cadets whispered nervously to each other, checking their weapons and scanning equipment. Lyra adjusted her pack, weighing lightly on her shoulders. Her heart remained steady as always. She had trained in real death worlds, under storms that could tear metal and creatures that hunted without warning. This simulation was nothing compared to her home. Instructor Kale's voice boomed through the arena speakers. Cadets, today you will face the Death World simulation. Your goal is survival, team coordination, and strategic problem solving. You will be observed and your performance will be recorded. Begin. Immediately, the cadets scattered, their movements frantic. Alien cadets activated energy shields, holographic trackers, and pulse rifles. They moved quickly, but with hesitation, as if afraid the terrain might collapse beneath their feet. Lyra did not rush. She stepped carefully, observing the environment first, reading the pattern of the storm and the movements of the predators. The first predator appeared, a large clawed creature with glowing eyes and a speed that made most cadets freeze. One cadet, a blue-scaled alien with 6 arms, stumbled over a rock and fell into a simulated river. Lyra didn't hesitate. She lunged forward, grabbing the cadet's wrist and pulling him out before the river's holographic current could sweep him away. "Thanks," he gasped, looking embarrassed. "Don't thank me yet," Lyra replied, her voice calm. "The day has just started." Other cadets began to notice her. Some whispered, shocked that a human moved so effortlessly. Others scoffed, unwilling to admit it. The bulky alien who had mocked her yesterday sneered again. "Beginner's luck," he muttered, though his tone wavered slightly. The storm in the arena intensified, with lightning strikes hitting simulated trees and rocks. The predators multiplied, stalking silently through fog and shadows. Lyra's instincts guided her. She crouched low, avoided open areas, and used natural cover. She didn't rely on gadgets. She relied on herself. Hours passed. Several cadets panicked. One activated an experimental force field and got trapped inside it, unable to escape when a predator approached. Lyra ran forward, disabling the field quickly and dragging the cadet to safety. He gaped at her. How did you know that?" Lyra didn't answer. Experience spoke louder than words. The alien cadets began to argue among themselves, blaming each other for mistakes and failures. Lyra noticed the patterns of their movements and the predators' hunting techniques. She planned several escape routes and safe zones, guiding herself and occasionally signaling to others when necessary. Finally, the predators cornered the group near a steep cliff. Panic spread among the cadets. One shouted, "We're trapped! We're done for!" Lyra stepped forward. "Follow me," she said, her voice firm but quiet. She led them along a narrow path that twisted along the cliff's edge, using shadows and overhangs to hide from predators. The cadets hesitated, but saw no other choice. Slowly, they followed, stumbling, tripping, and gasping, while Lyra moved with a confidence that seemed impossible to imitate. At one point, a predator lunged at her from the shadows. Lyra reacted instantly, using her pack strap to trip the creature and roll out of the way. She didn't panic. It was not a real predator. But she treated it as if it were. Survival demanded respect for danger. Finally, the group reached the safety zone. The simulation ended and the arena's storm dissipated. Many cadets collapsed, exhausted, their armor scratched and dented. Lyra stood quietly, breathing normally, scanning her team to ensure everyone was okay. The silver-scaled cadet, still trembling, approached her. You just saved me twice. How can a human do that?" Lyra looked at him calmly. "You survive by knowing the world, understanding the danger, and acting without fear. That's all." Some cadets still looked unconvinced, especially the ones who had mocked her, but others silently began to respect her. They could see it now. She was not just a human. She was someone who could survive what they couldn't. Instructor Kyle approached, his golden eyes studying Lyra. "Excellent work," he said, his voice carrying authority. "You did not just survive the simulation. You led, you adapted, and you maintained control. Many cadets failed today because they lacked focus. This human cadet demonstrates qualities you should all aspire to." The cadets exchanged glances. Some tried to hide embarrassment. Others grudgingly nodded. Lyra said nothing, letting the recognition speak for itself. After the debrief, the cadets returned to their quarters. The alien who had mocked Lyra yesterday cornered her. "Okay, human, you're good. But don't think this proves anything. It's just a simulation." Lyra's hand brushed the sleeve of her uniform where a scar ran from her wrist to her elbow, a scar earned on a real death world. "Luck doesn't survive on a death world," she said quietly. "Experience does, and some of us have plenty of both." The alien stared at her, taken aback by her quiet confidence. For the first time, he didn't know what to say. The room fell silent. Even other cadets nearby glanced at the scar and Lyra's composed expression. No one laughed. No one mocked. That evening, Lyra reviewed her performance notes. She noted every predator's movement, every terrain trap, every cadet's mistake. She wasn't satisfied with survival alone. She wanted mastery. She wanted to lead, to show that humans could not just endure challenges, but excel in them. Meanwhile, whispers spread among the cadets. Stories of Lyra's calm efficiency, her precision, and her courage began to circulate. Some doubted, still holding on to prejudice, but others quietly admitted she had earned something rare: respect. Even in the dining hall, where cadets often boasted and laughed at each other, conversation shifted. "Did you see the way she handled the cliff trap?" one cadet murmured. "I thought we'd all be eaten, but she just knew what to do." Another nodded. "She's from a death world. Maybe humans aren't as weak as we thought." Lyra ate quietly, listening but not engaging. She did not need validation from alien cadets. Her strength, her skill, and her experience were proof enough. Instructor Kale observed from across the hall. He noted her calm demeanor, her subtle leadership, and her tactical thinking. This cadet, he thought, will either redefine human potential here or inspire her peers to rise to her level. As night fell, Lyra walked alone to the observation balcony, looking at the stars. She thought about her home death world, the harsh mountains, the endless storms, the predators that had hunted her and her family. She had survived them all. She had learned to read danger before it arrived, to trust instincts over tools, and to remain calm when others panicked. Tomorrow would bring more challenges. Real-life simulations, team exercises, and leadership tests awaited. Some cadets would panic, some would fail, and some would try to mock her again. But Lyra knew one truth: humans were underestimated in every corner of the galaxy, and that underestimation would always be their weakness. A soft wind swept across the balcony. Lyra felt calm. She was ready, not just for the simulation, not just for the academy, but for any challenge the galaxy could throw at her. She would prove, quietly but undeniably, that humans could survive, adapt, and lead in ways no one expected. And one day, the cadets who mocked the word death world would understand the price of their doubt. They would learn that survival was not about gadgets, shields, or multiple arms. It was about courage, intelligence, and heart. And Lyra Solon had all three in abundance. The Academy's training halls were quiet now, but only for a moment. Tara Voss walked down the corridor, her steps light and steady, her mind focused. The first round in the arena had been a success. She had faced the champion and proven herself, but this was only the beginning. The announcement came over the speakers. Next challenge: human and selected cadets versus AI champions. Commence in 1 hour. Tara paused for a moment, thinking. The AI champions were legendary. They were not just machines, they were advanced combat simulators with adaptive algorithms. Every move a cadet made was analyzed, predicted, and countered. Most cadets had failed against them. Many had called it impossible. But humans were unpredictable. That was the edge she had learned to trust. She entered the preparation room where her team awaited. There were 3 cadets: Zira, an agile alien from Sirian, Kalek, a brute from Tharn, and Miri, a tactical prodigy from Lintara. All of them looked at Tara with a mix of curiosity and doubt. Humans were rare in combat teams. Most teams relied on aliens' natural strength or instinctive combat skills. "You ready, human?" Zira asked, eyes narrowing. Tara smirked. "I was born ready," Kalek snorted. "Hope your luck is better than your size. These AI champions won't hold back." Tara only nodded calmly, her eyes scanning the preparation room. She analyzed the layout, noting escape paths, cover points, and the placement of the combat interface terminals. Every detail mattered. Every second could make the difference between success and failure. The door opened, and a holographic instructor appeared, projecting a glowing image of Commander Zelvar. His voice echoed in the room. "You will face the Academy's AI champions. They adapt, they predict, they will exploit weakness. Humans are flagged as high risk. Proceed with caution. Your objective? Neutralize the AI's core control nodes and exit the arena within 30 minutes. Failure is not an option." The hologram flickered and vanished. Tara exhaled slowly. 30 minutes. They could do it. Humans thrived in challenges like this. Stress didn't break them, it sharpened them. The team entered the arena. It was massive, taller than any cadet had seen. Platforms floated in mid-air, connected by moving bridges and energy barriers. Lights flickered with a bluish glow. The AI champions waited at different points, mechanical giants with glowing cores and shifting armor plates. Their movements were swift and precise. The scanners above Tara's head flashed immediately. High risk detected, probability of failure elevated. She ignored it. Calmness was her strength. The first AI champion moved. It was a tall, armored figure, its metal joints whirring softly. It swung an arm, a blade-like appendage, aiming directly at Tara. Most cadets would have frozen. Tara stepped to the side, letting it strike nothing but air. At the same time, she threw a small grappling hook to stabilize herself on a moving platform. Zira tried to follow, but hesitated. The AI adapted quickly, swinging at her predicted path. Tara grabbed Zira's arm, pulling her to safety. "Move differently," Tara instructed. "Predictable patterns get you killed." The first attack was over, but it had taught the team a lesson. The AI champions learned fast, and the humans' adaptability would be their only advantage. Tara analyzed the arena as they moved. Platforms shifted. Energy barriers rose and fell. The AI's scanning sensors glowed red as they tracked movement. But the AI had one limitation. It could only analyze patterns it had seen. Tara intentionally changed her patterns, hopping in directions the AI would not predict, twisting mid-air, striking, and retreating in unpredictable sequences. The next AI approached, this one heavier and slower, designed for brute force. It grabbed a platform and swung, trying to smash Tara against a wall. She ducked, rolled under its swing, and delivered a precise kick to a glowing joint on its leg. Sparks flew. The AI stumbled, recalculating. Kalek grunted in surprise. "I didn't think that would work." Tara didn't answer. She was already moving toward the next node they needed to deactivate. Halfway through the arena, the team encountered a complex puzzle. Energy streams blocked the path, each one deadly if touched. Normally, cadets would attempt to go one at a time, slowing progress. Tara studied it. She saw patterns in the energy flows, small gaps in timing. "Watch me," she said. Without hesitation, she leaped into the first stream, timing her jumps perfectly. Sparks brushed past her skin, but she never faltered. She reached the other side and signaled the team to follow. Zira moved after her, slightly slower. But Tara reached out, adjusting Zira's timing with subtle nudges. Miri and Kalik followed in similar fashion. Within moments, they were all across the streams, and the first AI champion they had disabled tried to rise again. Tara didn't hesitate. She grabbed a floating control panel, swung it like a staff, and hit the AI's core node. It shuddered and powered down, sparks flying across the arena. The scanners above flashed again. High risk neutralized, human advantage confirmed. Even the aliens were impressed. Humans? They really think differently, Miri whispered. Yes, Tara said softly, still scanning the next section. Predictability is the enemy. The team moved deeper into the arena. The next AI was fast and nimble, almost like a predator. It darted in unpredictable patterns, striking at angles most cadets couldn't react to. But Tara was calm. She waited, watching its rhythm. Every movement had a micro-pattern if you watched closely. When it lunged, she sidestepped, grabbed a loose beam, and swung it like a pendulum. The AI stumbled. Tara kicked, twisting mid-air to land perfectly on a moving platform. Zira gasped. "How are you so fast?" Tara shrugged lightly. "I don't think fast. I just do." Her team followed, learning from her movements. The AI adjusted, predicting them now, but Tara adapted even faster. Every node they deactivated weakened the AI network. Every victory proved humans weren't just physically capable. They were unpredictable strategists. Then came the trap. One of the AI champions triggered a hidden mechanism. A wall of plasma energy shot across the arena. Most cadets panicked. Kalik froze. Miri prepared to jump, but misjudged the timing. Tara's instincts kicked in. She ran, grabbed both of them mid-leap, and pulled them over the plasma wall. They landed safely. Tara glanced at the scanner. High risk, critical threat averted. Her calm saved them all. Again. The AI system tried to adapt, predicting her next move, but Tara wasn't predictable. She moved like water, flowing around every attack, guiding her team, disabling nodes, and staying one step ahead. Finally, they reached the central control node. The largest AI champion stood in front, massive and glowing, arms extended like twin hammers. It advanced, calculating every angle. Tara didn't hesitate. She assessed its movements, the timing of its swings, and its blind spots. She leapt forward, dodging the first strike. Then, in one fluid motion, she rolled under its legs and delivered a powerful kick to its glowing core. Sparks flew, and the massive machine groaned, staggering back. Her team rushed in. Together, they deactivated the central node. The arena's systems lit up, signaling mission success. The scanners above blinked continuously. High risk neutralized, human advantage confirmed, team success achieved. Tara exhaled slowly. She looked at her teammates. Zira, Miri, and Kalik stared at her with awe. Even the AI couldn't predict a human like her. Humans are dangerous, Zira said softly. Tara smiled faintly. We don't just fight. We adapt. We survive. That's the real advantage. Commander Zelvar's voice came over the arena speakers. Congratulations. All teams have completed the exercise. The human cadet has proven once again that humans are unpredictable and extremely capable under pressure. Well done. Tara nodded. Calm, focused, and entirely human, she led her team out of the arena. The other cadets whispered as they passed. Humans. Humans were no longer to be underestimated. The scanner flashed one last time on Tara's wrist display. Human risk, critical, advantage confirmed. She looked at it, smiling faintly. The galaxy might not understand humans yet. But one thing was certain. When humans faced impossible odds, they didn't panic. They excelled. And Tara Voss? She had just shown the galaxy exactly what that meant.